Today, let's address a critical topic: the association of Islam with violence and extremism. For centuries, misunderstandings and historical events have led to certain views about Islam, especially in modern media. However, when we examine Islamic teachings and the actions of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, we find a foundation rooted in peace, compassion, and justice. Let's objectively explore this, drawing on verses from the Quran and sayings of the Prophet. Islam's core message is rooted in peace. In fact, the word Islam itself comes from the Arabic word salam, which means peace. In the Quran, we find a verse that reveals this essence clearly. "And we have not sent you, O Muhammad, except as a mercy to the worlds." Quran 21:107. This verse emphasizes that Prophet Muhammad was sent as a symbol of mercy not only to Muslims, but to all of humanity. Throughout his life, he displayed kindness and compassion even towards those who opposed him. In one well-known narration, he said, "He who does not show mercy to others will not be shown mercy." This sentiment runs deep in Islamic teachings, underscoring the significance of mercy and empathy in all interactions. Some verses in the Quran are often misquoted or taken out of context. For example, one verse that is frequently cited as evidence of Islam's call to violence states, "And kill them wherever you overtake them." Quran 2:191. However, reading the full passage, we find that this verse is referring specifically to self-defense in the context of a time when Muslims were being persecuted and attacked in the early days of Islam. The very next verse instructs, "But if they cease, then there is to be no aggression except against the oppressors." This clarifies that aggression is only permitted in self-defense, and even then, only against oppressors. Islam teaches that peace should always be the priority whenever possible. Islam's guidance on warfare is highly regulated and far from what we see today in cases of terrorism. The Quran states clearly, "Fight in the way of God against those who fight you, but do not transgress." Indeed, God does not like transgressors, Quran 2:190. This instruction limits actions in wartime to only those who are actively attacking and prohibits harm to non-combatants, civilians and innocents. Even during conflict, the Prophet Muhammad consistently emphasized restraint, compassion and justice. He instructed his followers to avoid harming women, children, the elderly, monks and even trees or animals during times of war. This emphasis on ethical conduct highlights a commitment to humanity and compassion, even in situations of conflict. Prophet Muhammad's life offers further examples of this peaceful approach. After facing years of hostility and oppression in Mecca, when he finally returned in a position of strength, he did not seek revenge. Instead, he forgave the people of Mecca, declaring, "No reproof be upon you today. May God forgive you, and He is the most merciful." This act of mercy and forgiveness had a profound impact on the people and serves as a powerful example of Islam's core values. Islam's teachings also discourage all forms of extremism. The Prophet Muhammad stated, "Beware of extremism, for it was extremism that destroyed the nations before you." This warning emphasizes the dangers of radical approaches, whether in religion, politics, or any aspect of life. Islam teaches a balanced, moderate path that discourages all forms of fanaticism and calls for humility, justice, and patience. The Quran further stresses that taking innocent lives is one of the gravest sins. A key verse often cited in this regard is, "Whoever kills a soul, it is as if he has killed all of humanity. And whoever saves one, it is as if he has saved all of humanity." Quran 5:32. This verse speaks volumes about the sanctity of life in Islam, equating the killing of a single innocent person to the killing of all humanity, and the saving of a single life to the saving of all. Islam places immense value on the lives of every individual. making it clear that taking innocent lives is an offense against humanity itself. If we look back historically, Islamic civilization has been a source of tolerance and diversity. In regions where Muslims ruled, religious minorities often lived peacefully alongside Muslims, maintaining their faith and customs freely. This coexistence is not an accident, but is rooted in Islamic teachings that emphasize respect for all people. One verse from the Quran states, "There shall be no compulsion in religion," Quran 2:256, which establishes the principle of religious freedom and respect for individual beliefs. This verse directly contradicts the idea that Islam seeks to impose itself by force. In addition to these teachings, Islam promotes positive contributions to society, such as charity, honesty, and kindness. Prophet Muhammad said, "The best among you are those who benefit others." Islam encourages its followers to support the vulnerable, care for neighbors, and contribute to the well-being of society as a whole. Acts of kindness, charity, and respect for others are emphasized repeatedly in the Quran and the sayings of the Prophet. It is also worth understanding the distinction between the actions of individuals and the teachings of Islam. Just as extremists exist in all ideologies and religions, Islam has its own challenges with people who misinterpret or misrepresent its teachings. However, their actions do not reflect the values of the broader Muslim community or the teachings of Islam. Most Muslims around the world condemn terrorism and violence, and countless Islamic scholars and leaders have issued statements denouncing acts of extremism that go against the peaceful principles of Islam. In conclusion, Islam is a religion founded on the values of peace, compassion, justice, and mercy. The teachings of the Quran and the actions of Prophet Muhammad emphasize restraint, ethical conduct, and respect for human life. Misconceptions arise when verses are taken out of context, or when the actions of a few are seen as representative of an entire faith. Islam advocates for coexistence, condemns violence against innocents, and calls for kindness, mercy, and forgiveness. As we have seen, the values taught in Islam encourage harmony, compassion, and a commitment to justice for all humanity.